made you want to put women and their stories front and center of everything that you do at Clean? And why is inclusivity so important to you?
On? Hi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. Thank you for coming here. I think when we started Clean Slate with Anushka, I think at that point in this sector of entertainment and films, what we found was that women had little or no agency in the storytelling process. You know, most of us have grown with the cinemas of the 80s and 90s and going forward. So I think for us it was important to have women participate in the process of filmmaking, that is equality, and you know, for them to take roles and leadership roles in cinema, which is not just restricted to storytelling, but also aspects of business and marketing and stuff like that. So I think from that point of view, that's where we as Clean Slate came in, and we thought, you know, to bring about this change. And it was very important for us because those were the values which we were brought up as kids. You know, at our home, we were never differentiated. So we were brought up in an army defense setup, and in defense, there is no discrimination. So as much as my sister was asked to come back home after dark, so was I. And I think, you know, so we didn't see a world as unequal, so we just saw it as equal. And it was strange when we came to work and, you know, we saw inequality. And I think that was the reason why we did what we did. And I think women's stories also are better stories than men, so that's a natural fit.
I totally agree with you on that one, and I'm not being biased there. Avneeta, you work in cinema across so many different spectrums. Now, you have a wonderful new role, and as Ganesh just mentioned, it's also about in Clean make such a concerted effort, not just to ensure women empowerment and equality on screen, but behind the scenes as well. So now you're the co-founder of Clean Slate, which is such a unique streaming platform, a world first, original content, female focused, female first. Now, what's your vision for the streaming platform? Being a woman, and I'm a big believer that it's not always about special rights, it's about equal rights. It's not because I'm a girl, I should be getting special rights, etc. So in that respect, what's your vision for the streaming platform? And how do you think that aligns to Yorkshire County Cricket Club's vision and values as well?
I think, first of all, let me start by saying I inherently always believed that biology has nothing to do with intellect. So it was a little surprising and shocking as I went along to realize that, people would call me a female writer or a female lyricist. And I was like, why is my gender being mentioned? You never say male writer, male lyricist. But you're doing it, and I realized it's because the numbers were so few and far between. So I actually want, at a very basic level, to take gender out of play. And to do that, we have to tell enough stories. We have to change enough of the world that it becomes normal, that it's not something unique or something that needs to be mentioned even. The fact that, the kind of stories that Lord Patel was telling us, it should be something that people should say, there was a time. That is what we want to do as storytellers. And trust me, I know it sounds, these are films. You can just say, oh, these are just films. No, they're not. Stories change the world. Stories change the world every day. Even if you tell someone, if you do this, if you're kind, this will be a better world. If it teaches you empathy, this is a story. If someone says that, you see that thing glowing up there, it's a moon, it's a goddess. One day, maybe you can go on it and land there and play on the moon. It's a story. Somebody tells that story, therefore we go to the moon. So I think that's what we want to do, and that's how we are aligned in that sense. We dream big.
Yeah, absolutely, dreaming big. And I can see why the partnership with Yorkshire County Cricket Club is so synergistic as well. Now, I don't know if many of you know this, but Yorkshire really is no stranger to cinema. And Bradford, which is a city in Yorkshire, is actually the world's first UNESCO film city. Now, talking about Yorkshire, I'd love to ask Lord Patel a question. Now, sir, I'm in awe of everything that you've achieved, okay? Everything you do has inclusivity at its core. It's not something that you just talk about, but you literally demonstrate it every single day of your life. Now, you hold such esteemed positions, and forgive me if because they're changing so much. So, you know, I understand you're a chair of the BBFC, a director of the English Cricket Board. Of course, now you're the chairman of the Yorkshire County Cricket Club as well. Now, I don't know many of you know this, but Lord Patel was also an ambulance driver. So I would absolutely love to have insight into your backstory and how your backstory and the trials and tribulations that you went through in your life helped you to actually steer one of the world's most successful cricket clubs out of a almost turbulent period just most recently. So I think we all would love to hear how that's inspired you.
Thank you. I mean, I think it goes back to what was said. It's your childhood and your family life. Whether it's good or bad, it shapes you. And childhood was difficult, but it shaped me. And it made me want to tackle inequality. And it is the core of everything I do. And it's this idea of saying, oh, she's a woman and she's a director. The first question I got asked, I became a director on the English and Wales Cricket Board. And it was all over the newspaper. First Asian to be a director. I'm a guy and I'm good at governance. That's why I got on the board, not because I'm Asian. Then I went on to live TV, and the first question I got asked, now you wouldn't ask any other member of the board, was, do you pass the Tebbit test? Now, I don't know if you know what the Tebbit test is, but there was a politician in England called Norman Tebbit in the Thatcher government, Lord Tebbit now, and he believed that if you wanted to live in England, you should support England. So you had to pass the Tebbit test. You couldn't support Pakistan or India. You should say, I support England because I live in England. So they said to me, the first question, do you pass the Tebbit test? And I thought, what's this about? So I said, no. You don't pass it. I said, no, I fail it on all counts. They said, what do you mean you fail it on all counts? I said, you know, if there was a tripartite series, I wouldn't support England and I wouldn't support India. He says, why? I said, I support the West Indies. So he says, oh. I said, you know why? I said, because I grew up in an era, when I said earlier, where racism was blatant. You walked down the street and you were scared if you were not white. And then along come these 12 black men and they destroy the world of cricket. They come world champions and they give you hope, inspiration and aspiration. I said, that's why I support West Indies. He said, okay, next question. We moved on. So that, I think, forms a part of what happens.
That's so inspiring, sir. Mr. Chandra, just a question over to you, right? So the partnership, as you discussed earlier today, is such an intrinsic part of your vision for Clean Slate. In your position as guiding Clean Slate's next trajectory, its growth, not just nationally, but internationally as well. You also earlier today signified the significance of the partnership of India and the UK, and how this partnership is so significant to India and the UK. Now, do you think what you're achieving today with Clean Slate and the Yorkshire County Cricket Club will actually help the relationship between India and the UK become more transformative than transactional?
Well, I think to begin with, there is a genesis of how you feel within. And I think that the two reasons that I believe in what we're doing now, and the two reasons of my utmost happiness, are two words in Hindi. One is Khushi and one is Muskan. And those two are my daughters. And I'm glad that Khushi is here. So, you know, when you come from that perspective and you look around and you see women, Anvita on my left, you as an international strategist, I look around key people, Meenal, who did all the set for us, Shivangi, who represents the British Deputy High Commission, Rasil, who represents art, Shashi behind, who represents investment banking. I mean, you just see the people that are around you in society, and you just feel that the importance and the impetus that the females are getting, and they're getting their due regard now. As a father, you become very conscious of what society needs to dictate on a gender basis. So I think my alignment was with Karnesh was with his vision, and the idea was, could I, as Amrish, invest enough to complement the vision that Karnesh had, which was, building a production house, a film production house, going into the universal world of the streaming platform. And I think that with a little bit of the fact that I have been in England since 1994, that has been, if I may say so, and since my wife is not here, it's been second home for many, many years now. You transactionally understand, you're able to understand and grasp an accent like a Yorkshire accent. And it comes easy to you to sit there and weave and stitch something that Karnesh and I were thinking here with something back in England. And I think that what we have been trying to do is trying to remove geographical boundaries, pretty much like Anvita said, and this is a conversation, a kind of a closed-loop conversation between him and me, and sorry to let the cat out of the bag, but we've always thought about, under Clean Slate Foundation, is why is there always a reference to an Einstein or a Gandhi, and that's a male-denominated perspective to that. And a part of the foundation that we want to do, we want to talk about how somebody could just be an Einstein without being gender specific to it. So I think that, yes, with what I come from, the weave of the vision, the understanding of things back home in England, and what we are trying to bring, I think it's transforming partnerships between those in India and back there through a very powerful marriage between filmmaking and cricket. And I think that it's fantastic to be a part of that.
It's amazing. Now, Darren, you are a prolific cricketer. You represented Yorkshire, you represented England as well. Now, we just relived the spectacular hat-trick against Australia. Now, Sachin Tendulkar and all of India will never forget the fact that you took a wicket from Sachin, and that too in this city, Mumbai. Now, one thing India may not know is that you are also a winner of Strictly Come Dancing in the UK. I think India has the equivalent of Jhalak Dikhla Ja or Dance India Dance, etc. So it's a huge, huge show. Now, just when we thought you swapped the cricket pitch for the dance floor, you're back here as Managing Director of Yorkshire Cricket. Now, I'd love to know what this partnership means to you, especially from the lens of you being a cricketer as well, not just from wearing your business hat. What does this mean for Yorkshire? What does it mean for the community?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be back in India. As they said, the last time I was in India was a long, long time ago, and I did manage to take the wicket of my ex-teammate at Yorkshire, Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin, if you're listening, I love you, and I'll see you soon. And it's also, by the way, a shame we couldn't have had this meeting next week, this launch. You get me all the way to India, and I don't get to see an IPL game. It's next week in Mumbai. So I was usually disappointed in that. But absolutely pleasure to be here, and this partnership is groundbreaking. I'm absolutely... the joy of being part of what's happening at Yorkshire, when Lord Patel first gave me that phone call and asked me if I'd come back. I've been in broadcasting, and I've done a lot of reality television the last 13 years. And I've loved it, working in football, working in cricket, working in golf. But now, obviously, as well as doing cricket commentary around the world, but now to be back involved in cricket and being part of something that's special, something that needed to be done for the game of cricket. We've seen racism, not just at Yorkshire, I think in the game in general, and we've got to be part to make Yorkshire the greatest cricket club once again, and an example for everyone else in the game in England to follow. So that's our dream. But to have that dream, we need help along the way. We need partnerships. We need to see how other countries go about their work and share experiences. And having these partnerships, and Lord Patel talks about the Lahore Qalandars, the partnership we've got in South Africa, And now the partnership we've got in India, which is the heartbeat of cricket. Even people say England's the home of cricket, but the heartbeat of cricket is obviously India. I think that's plain for everyone to see with the strength of the IPL. So I'm just so excited to be part of that experience. And hopefully in 20, 30 years' time, they'll be talking about how good a cricket club Yorkshire is, how inclusive it is to everyone, how diverse it is in its employment, going out into the community and finding extreme talent, boys and girls, and giving them the opportunity to represent the White Rose, which we're all passionate about. So that's why I think it's so important, but we do have partnerships, and this one, I would say, is probably our most important one. So thanks very much for joining and being part of the growth of Yorkshire County Cricket Club. And I mean growth, it's 159 years old, it's got a terrific history. And we've had some unbelievable players that played for Yorkshire, including Sachin. We've had Truman, we've had Boycott, we've had Hutton, we've had Gough, we've had Joe Root. You know, I mean, there's some absolutely great cricketers that have represented the White Rose. And hopefully that partnership along the way will bring us Virat Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah and Rohit Sharma and players like that, because that is the dream. That is the dream as myself, as director of cricket, one day to get one of the great Indian cricketers to come and represent Yorkshire again, because we've had Jadeja, we've had Sachin, but it'd be good to carry on that partnership.
So what happens when it says clean slate, principal, Headingley, and India's playing England, and Virat is batting? Now, which side are you going to then be on?
Both. No, I'm going to be obviously...
You have to have a clean stand.
Yeah. No, of course I'm going to be England. You've got to be England. But at the moment, everybody's seen the way England have played. One win in 17 test matches. It's not been very good. The Indian cricket team slipped up against South Africa, but they came back strong under the wall, Rahul Dravid. And I'm looking forward to that test match next year against India, the one that's going to be replayed from that COVID series. But as far as England are concerned, it's a huge, huge summer as well. They've got to play New Zealand in a test match, which we've got at Headingley, which is going to be fantastic. We got South Africa in a one-day international, and then we got the Ashes approaching us. Unfortunately, I played in 5 Ashes series and lost every one. They won the Ashes for the first time in a long, long time in 2005. I wasn't playing, but I did win Strictly Come Dancing in 2005. So that was a special time.
I don't think he can dance. I think this is all.
I think you're probably right.
Darren, all of India has seen you in action on the cricket pitch. I don't think anybody even knew you won Strictly Come Dancing. So do you think you might be able to show us your winning dance steps?
Well, I couldn't show you my winning dance. I don't think I remember that. It was in 2005. And Champion of Champions in 2009. But what can I remember?
So what kind of music do you want?
The floor is yours,
Let's get
Darren.
the music.
The floor is yours.
You get the music.
Do we have any Latin vibes on our music playlist?
No, I don't think you'll have a cha-cha-cha. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2,
Oh, okay, fine.
1, 2, 3.
Very simple.
That's all I remember. So all I can remember is the first step they ever taught me, which was a 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. And the other one, my favourite, but it's one of the hardest ones, is the jive. Now, I did the jive, and that was one of the hardest dances I've ever done. And I think I need to say the Blues Brothers at the time. But one of the best moves I liked, and the only one I could do, was, I don't even know what it's called. I know none of the names. Is it kickball and something like that? Can you go like this? So yes, as you can see, I'm a born dancer, but I did manage to win it. So thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you.
Ganesh, Avneeta, I think you're looking at your next leading man. Yeah, good. Actually, Darren, I don't know if you know this, but Ganesh represented Karnataka's junior state team. So perhaps you might want to have a quick career
The
exchange.
deck is ready there, Pat.
We'll do a job swap.
Yeah. Mr. Chandra, very quickly, just wanted to ask you, now, everybody, I'm sure you've seen these amazing logos on our branding board here, and there's 2 very different ones. One is SDG 10, reduce inequalities. The other one is SDG 17, partnerships for the goals. Now, I know purpose is at the heart of everything that you do, and as well as at Clean as well. And inequalities and partnerships. Now, do you think film and sports really has the power to create change? And what impact do you foresee you will be creating through this partnership?
I think I'll take one part of it and I'll pass the other one to on filming. But I think that why we wear these two badges today is to whatever we're doing in this partnership, we are actually contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And I think that all of us contribute to it in some way or the other. I think this is a conscious effort to bring to awareness to people of what these two badges stand for and how they define this partnership, which is that any success comes with team, comes with alliance, comes with partnership. This is a perfect example of a partnership to take forward the agendas that we have. And of course, when you have a partnership, reducing inequalities is just one of it. And that is the purpose to do this. And therefore, we've decided that wherever we take this partnership, we want to carry the SDG logos. We want to be SDG compliant. We want to create awareness through this partnership and also through filming. And that's where I think...
Yeah, I think reducing inequalities is part of our program as well. I think it's very important to raise awareness. A lot of people aren't really aware about it. And I think through corporate and private sector, we can do a lot. And it's our contribution to the goal here. And hopefully there are a lot more people who can then implement it in their workplace and workforce.
Avneet, I'd love to ask you, have you ever found or experienced yourself firsthand a moment when a movie became a movement?
My God. I think there were films like Rang De Basanti, or in fact even old films of whether it was Ray or Bimal Roy, where they Bimal Roy, this is in the 50s and the 60s. He had a female gaze. His stories were always about women, whether it was Bandhani, which was the empowerment of female prisoners and their state. So telling really engaging stories that opened a window into a world that they did not understand. Like that, according to me, like I said, all stories change the world, and usually for the better. So I don't think it's a specific film. I think it's just stories at large that do it. And if we focus on that, we understand the power that we wield, we'll wield it a little more responsibility. Yeah.
And I love the fact that with films like Buddy and even Bulbul, which are at the heart and its core are kind of in the horror genre, but you're still using the horror genre for social commentary.
Yes.
Which is very unique. And actually creating a mainstream canvas for your projects so it's not niche, it's not kind of independent cinema that only reaches a select audience, but you make it such a concerted effort with everything that you do in your work to reach audiences nationwide and now globally as well. Of course, now with the streaming platform.
Yes, that's the whole plan.
Yeah. Now, my last question to Lord Patel. So you have the weight of England on your shoulders at the moment. And as you embark on this journey to transform Yorkshire County Cricket Club, I'd just love to hear from you, and I think we would all want to hear from you. What impact do you see this partnership with Clean Slate creating for the sport as well as for Yorkshire?
I think the ultimate impact is the benefits that will be gained not from just entertainment, whether it's cricket or whether it's Indian cinema, but the benefits where we engage with everybody. So we have a strapline in England cricket that says, cricket's a game for everyone. It's not at the moment, but we want to make sure at Yorkshire and through this partnership, everybody will feel that cricket is a game for them. I think we want to see physical and mental health improve because people come together and get engaged in, you asked the question, sport and movies, can they make a difference? I know when I had really bad times as a child, you went to watch a movie and you forgot for 2 or 3 hours and you went into another world and you came out energized. when I was feeling low, I'd play a game of cricket and it'd energise me. So it improved my physical health, improved my mental health. It helps with education, and it's going to ultimately help bring the oldest democracy and the youngest, largest democracy together, of the two great countries, and put us together. And I think that's genuine. There'll be business opportunities that stem from this. We can do film production in Yorkshire. We can learn from how Clean Slate do it and how we do it in Yorkshire and develop. So I think the vision is way beyond cricket. I think it's about benefiting the whole of the community, the whole of society, long term, and it'll be a kinder, better world. It's as simple as that.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.